I'm Robert Turmman, the Jedzong Kappa Professor of Indo-Tibetan Buddhist Studies at Columbia University and the publisher of the Treasury of the Buddhist Sciences, a series of learned scholarly works and translations of the library of the ancient Buddhist University of Nalanda. The 2045 organization is holding, they already held in Russia several of these conferences, and they plan to hold a series of them from now until 2045. And there's a great one happening in New York between June 13 and 15, or June 15 and 16, and so you really should try to join that conference and be part of it, because you will really see a kind of imaginative scientific frontier that will really blow your mind and will inspire you. So if you're a scientist, please go. If you love science, please go. If you like the connection of science and spirituality, please go. And if you are a spiritualist type and you don't like science, please go, because you will find scientists who are very open to inner science and mind science at that conference, and in the conferences that the 2045 organization will continue to create, creative conferences. We're hopefully working with me and with the Dalai Lama and with our Tibetan and Indian inner scientists. So please come anyway to get started with it, July 15, 16 in New York City. The exchange between religion and science, I think, is a rather complicated thing. And I actually think that the way religion is defined is not, what is called religion is not that helpful to science, actually. I think they are different spheres. However, all of the religions have an element that is a kind of science, in the sense that they are pursuing states of higher consciousness and states of greater compassion and spirituality in a systematic way. And they are investigating the way the mind becomes corrupted and the way the mind becomes enlightened in a scientific and a methodical way. And that aspect of religion, which I would call it religious science, like Christian science, Buddhist science, Hindu science, yogic science, I would call it like that. And I think that has, in India they have the expression inner science, or interior science, or mind science. And that has a tremendous amount to offer Western science, which is defined as materialist science. Materialist science, I believe, has made great progress and discovered a lot of things, but at the moment it has reached a little bit of a dead end, in my opinion, due to its dogma of materialism. You know, only material. There's nothing that we can't control materialistically, and because everything is material, and there's no mind separate from the brain, and therefore we only look at the phenomenon in the brain. We don't really think of the mind itself as something you can study with the mind itself. And this is a drawback, I think, for materialist science. And the spiritual sciences of the religions, I think, have a lot to contribute. But I only mean to say that the way people define science nowadays, where it means only materialist science, and the way they define religion nowadays, where it means only non-rational or mystical experience, those two I don't think have a great deal to contribute to each other, personally. I think it's limited what they can contribute. But when you define science as any form of systematic knowledge of the nature of reality, looking non-dogmatically, where all laws of nature are a hypothesis awaiting falsification by further evidence, therefore really open-minded science. And when you define religion as including mind science or inner science, then there is a very fruitful, not only is it fruitful, but I think the survival of human beings on the planet at this time depends upon a dialogue between open-minded science and religious inner science. It depends on that. But to reach that, you have to redefine both religion and science to get away from their respective dogmas, which imprison both of them. The most wrong-headed dogma of science is that the mind and or spirit, you know, that's a different, how we define that, you know. I define spirit as a more subtle level of mind, the brain-oriented level of mind as mind, you know, connected to the senses and to conceptuality. The spirit is more subtle. It connects to that, but it's more subtle. But anyway, the dogma that there is no spirit and mind is only an epiphenomenon of the brain, is how they put it, you know, a product of the brain, is the most damaging dogma. It's completely unprovable, and it's just a dogma that you can't find evidence for or against, because it's just a dogma. They won't consider anything that is evidence as evidence, and they can't prove it because they don't need to, because they just make a dogma. So the idea is to get where we can even change time, go back and fix the past, overcome all seeming disasters in the past. That's Buddhahood, you know. And then everybody, and in that sense, bring everyone maximally into their full evolutionary fulfillment. That is the goal. Your 2045 idea is sort of like Pure Land by 2045, is what you're kind of saying, where you feel that, or at least the beginning of a Pure Land process, where people can be transformed in such a way as to maximize their spirituality and not have physical obstruction to their maximizing their spirituality. And you are experimenting, and you are looking at experiment of using high-tech computer science type technology to get there. And although I'm not sure it will get there in the way that we are thinking of it now, the way we think about matter and mind, what we will learn from trying to will assist doing that. I agree, I think. That's why I like you and I like your plan, you know.